hard too. Yay. Aloha and welcome to Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson, coming to you from Hawaiian Paradise Park on the beautiful Big Island of Hawaii, with Anne joining me in person. I'm just savoring these moments where Anne shows up for in-person Wisdom Dialogues. It was just so sweet. We have a beautiful connection. I'm so grateful for her. She makes a good mirror for me. They're sitting right across from me while I'm talking with everyone. Yay. So, what is this sense of attraction to bodies? You know, someone was asking me about this today. What is this attraction, like this sexual attraction to bodies, right? And, you know, the way I see that is that that's kind of like a perverted version of the desire for wholeness. You know, I started many years ago just asking that I be released from any of those kinds of thoughts, because I noticed that pursuing them was not leading to clarification. It was leading to more confusion. So it wasn't appealing to me to be following those kinds of thoughts, but I could see how if, you know, you do just follow them because, you know, you think you're supposed to, or you don't realize that that's just the ego speaking, you know, you don't really get, you don't really desire the body. That's a totally different thing. That's a totally different desire. So it's like and you know, it's not like it's right or wrong to do that. It's just that I see that it builds attachment to material things and sets me up for a sense of confusion, disillusion, all that kind of stuff, which is good. It has its place, you know, when it's necessary. For me, I just saw that if I pursue a thought of sexual attraction to a body, it doesn't lead anywhere good for me. It doesn't go anywhere good. And what I noticed is how I started to see that, I started to see it as an opportunity to see to the root of it, instead of to follow it on the surface of things, pursue a thought like that on the surface of things, as if I really do desire a body, right? I would allow myself to have whatever feeling I thought I could get from that body right now, right? It's all self-projected. The whole thing is self-projected. So if do I want to project attachment to myself, toward form? You know, if I allow myself to be released from these kinds of distracting, basically I consider them distractions. They're not benign thoughts. People think it's just benign. One friend said, "What's wrong?" I go, "Quit perving out." And he goes, "What's wrong with it?" And I'm like, "Nothing's wrong with it. I'm sure you just do it so I can see it and laugh at it, you know, and tell you to quit perving out because it's fun." You know, I also don't mind it. You know, my friends that, you know, follow their sexual whatever, that's why I think it's funny. I think it's comical. You know, it just reminds me of funny stuff. But I notice when I don't have to pursue that stuff, and you know, I've been free of those kinds of temptations for quite some time. I don't know how many years, you know, because I don't remember the exact moment where it was like, "Hey, I'm free from the temptations." It's just that they kind of like slowed down. And then, you know, all of a sudden they'd come on really strong. And then I just do the same thing with them. And then they slow down. And then I just watch them disappear. So I'm thinking that it's probably been years since I've been burdened with that. And I do consider it a burden because you know, I mean, to pursue it, it's a burden. It doesn't have any power over you, but when you pursue it, it's burdensome. It becomes burdensome. Okay. And that goes for just about every thought that ever comes to your mind. It's only the thoughts of God that are releasing you of burdens. Any thought that you have regarding this world is adding burdens to you. So when you're aware of that, the thoughts don't have this permissiveness. You're not giving them this permission to just keep on hooking you and pulling you into all these directions. You can just watch them play out and acknowledge what they are. That's what kind of thought that is. Like, for instance, a thought like, I want to be with that person, right? That's not even your thought. That's the ego's thought. It's just like a hook. So if you believe in it, then you're suffering. That's just how that goes. It starts with sexual attraction, and it seems like it's like benign, no big deal. I can just do this. Build up to attachment, and then heartbreak when a body that you think you need because you thought that was the source of your pleasure. That's the thing. It's not the source of your pleasure. That's what I saw when I was like, I don't know, 21 or something like that. And I thought it would be nice to have someone to be beside me so we can do some French kissing and stuff like that. And I just kind of like felt this feeling of what it would feel like to have someone beside me and like hugging me and stuff like that. And all of a sudden I had the feeling. So then I realized, oh my gosh, I don't need anyone. And it just felt so freeing. That doesn't mean I'm not going to be with anyone. It's just that I don't need anyone. And so then it just felt so free to know that, and it's like knowing it deeply to where you're not going to be swayed by anything that plays out on the surface, like proving to you that you need someone, because you can tell that your source is within. So nothing's going to do it. How come you feel like you are on psychedelics? Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Well, I'll tell you what, Lori. First of all, on Saturday, we had a 7-hour retreat. Okay. That was wow. It was like 7-hour retreat. There's about 6 hours of blocking in there. If you don't know what that is, it's a deep what do they call that, like this, like psychosomatic release or something like that. It's compression therapy on wooden blocks. So there was that, and then that was Saturday, and it was so, oh my gosh, so rewarding, because there were all these women all around me while I'm blocking along with me and getting all this release. And I'm just like, yes, this is wonderful. I feel so inspired by that. I just love that there's so much willingness to release. So then the next day I had a blocking session. I don't know what the heck I did. I think it was like 2 hours or something like that. After that, I felt so weird. I just like stopped being able to think it in like really technical ways, I guess, like when I'm going to the store to buy something, kind of like leaving stuff around, kind of like feeling like a little bit scatterbrained and stuff, but in a really pleasant way. Like, sorry guys, that's just how it is. Yeah. So it's been like that for a couple days. Yeah, I'm just like taking it as it comes, and noticing the sensations as far as just things releasing. It's interesting because I was just sitting down resting before I came on with you guys, and I was just noticing my breath, and my breath was just breathing really softly and down in the low belly, like I talk about all the time. I talk about laughing down to the bottom of your cooch, talking down to the bottom of your cooch, down to the bottom. The perineum, maybe that's better, because not everyone has cooch. Only half of us, about half of us do. You know, the perineum, you know, so I'm sitting there and I'm just noticing my breathing. I'm noticing that it's nice and deep. And then all of a sudden I go into this deeply ecstatic bliss sensation. And you know, it's just like, it's just that simple. It's just like right there for us. So we don't need anything. We don't actually need anything. It's really interesting. Like, we've been programmed to think that we need stuff from the world. That's why money has power over us. That's why we gave it power. It doesn't really have power over us. That's why it's our choice, you know. But we gave it power over us in thinking that we need stuff. So then we need to buy stuff. It was perfect for commercialism to step in there, right? And so it's like, you need to work and then you need to buy stuff, and this is how the system goes, right? And it's just not really like that. We made that up. And you know, it's like we have to act like it's like that as long as we believe that. We don't have a choice. So we find ourselves going to work, we find ourselves, and it's not a bad thing. But just noticing, it's not wrong when you find yourself going to work, you know, there may be some motivation for you going to work. I mean, you may be going to work because you would fucking go to work no matter, go to that job no matter what. You just freaking love it. Okay. But you know, you may be going there because you think you need the money. Just acknowledge that. It's really that simple. It's not like you have to stop doing it. You don't have a choice in it. Just acknowledging and having compassion for that, you know, innocent child energy that doesn't know, that feels upset about that. You know, we all feel upset if we get the perception that we have to support ourselves in the world. That's very upsetting. Okay. The reason it's upsetting is because it's not true. If there's a thought that upsets you, it's because it's not true. A true thought will not be upsetting for you. The truth is that you're always supported. And even all the money that seems to have come to you by means of the way you made it, earned it. I love that word. That's a good one. You earned it. That all comes from the same, you can call it universal mind or source. All the money that you think you earned. Anyways. And you know what else comes from the universal mind? The act of doing the work. You know, it's according to your belief that it seems like you're in it and you're doing things. You're not in it. I know that saying, in the world and not of it, and it has a good connotation, a good meaning. And the world is actually in your perception. You're not in it. None of those things touch you. None of those upset feelings ever brush up against you. You just use them and project them. That's all. Okay. What, we had a question here. Something about, do you think of yourself as a person? Well, no, I don't think of myself like that. I notice what does think of myself as a person though. Right? That's all. It's like, okay, time to take a shower. That's the one that thinks of myself as a person. Okay, Hope, time to get up out of bed and have wisdom dialogues. That's the one who thinks of myself as a person. It's okay, but that's not me. I don't identify with that one. Right? That one's kind of almost like being bossed around by this thing that's going, okay, time to do this. Okay. All right. You got a time. All right. Time to pay the bill. Whatever. That thing's just playing out. It doesn't have anything to do with me. All right. Asana is with us. Are you muted? No.
Aloha.
Aloha.
How's it going?
You know.
I know. Yeah, you're telling us. So I got a couple of questions that have come up recently.
I love that.
Yeah, some conversation that's been going around, I think, about a lot of people for a while. So you've always taught us that this is just a dream, an illusion, right? None of it's
Yeah,
real.
that's right.
So the things that have been coming up are like conversations around the universe and the galaxies and what's going to happen and all kinds of things like that. So, I've been taught that there's nothing out there. It's all inside of us.
Yeah, that's all it
So,
is. Even the
so
galaxy, even the people you perceive telling you about galaxies.
the galaxies. Okay, that's what I thought. But I just need verification of that because there is so much talk about it. It's like
Tempting.
how could so many people believe something that's not real?
Well,
Right?
it's it's something to distract ourselves. It's also something to learn from if you're using it that way. So like you could be an astrologer,
Yeah.
right? Right?
Yeah.
And you're studying all the stars and you're like studying way out into the galaxy and it's fucking awesome and you're having a great time, right? You just don't have to believe that it's real just because you think you see it, right?
Oh. Well, how could I would think that these people do think it's real because somebody made a comment and they were an astrology person and they're talking
Yeah.
about this and that's happening and blah blah
Well,
blah, right?
sure.
And
Sure.
so Miss Know It All, I go, oh well, there is nothing out there, so that totally shot them down, right?
Oh my goodness.
There's
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing out there. It's all
Right.
inside you, right?
Yes.
But it told she was like devastated, right? Because we were in a group
Uh-huh.
of people,
Uh-huh.
right? Yeah, and then so I had to think about it, and then I'm hearing more and more stuff about all these things that are going to be happening and uh, other life forms and planets and things that are going to be coming to Earth and
Well, that may
rescuing
be
us.
so, but who cares? Because nothing changes.
Huh. What do you mean nothing changes? I thought everything
Well,
changed
it's
all
it's
the time.
you're always just fucking playing tricks on yourself in your mind.
Okay. That's right. I forgot. You can't believe a word it says, right? That's just a big storyteller.
That's what I mean about it's all the same. Of course, it appears to change. That's what a dream does. It appears to change, but the changeful is meaningless. The changes are meaningless. It's still you playing a trick.
Yeah, so is this dream in the mind of God being expressed, or is it all in our minds?
Well, there's only one mind. So it's projected to outside of the mind of God as if it's outside. That's why it's all called dreaming.
All right.
See, it's projected on a screen, right? And there's nothing out there because it's a projection, including the galaxies and the people who tell you about galaxies and the people who react to you telling them that it's all in their mind. By the way, a lot of people are going to react to you just coming up and telling them it's all in their mind. I can speak from experience on that one.
Yes, I've had plenty of experience on that already myself.
I bet
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah, right. Because I have a big mouth sometimes, and I think I know it all, and so I'm not afraid most of the time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just bless anything that comes out of that beautiful mouth.
Oh dear.
And
Okay.
watch the energy plays. Watch the energy plays. Just notice, you know, you say, I miss know it all and stuff like that. And watch how you talk about yourself because there's an opportunity here for some more compassion for yourself, the self that you're projecting.
Right.
Okay,
Oh, that's
because
good.
it seems like it's a know-it-all, right? That doesn't you're making that projection onto it.
Okay.
Isn't that awesome?
I've had a good friend tell me that they thought when I was talking about, sometimes when I talk about this stuff, that I'm very egotistically. I'm so ego, right? And then
Mhm.
they give me their version about, well, you think you're the only one that has the answer. I use the Akashic records, and that's what gives me my juice or whatever, blah,
Okay,
blah.
so that's really good stuff there, Asana. That's really good. So it's like this. You gave them a script to tell you that, okay? So once you get a load of that, okay, I'm saying that to myself. I'm saying to myself, I come across egotistically, okay? And look at the reaction and notice the reaction. Now, feel how that feels. That's all you have to do there. You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to project onto yourself. You don't have to do anything like that. Just feel how that feels. Feel the sensation. That's the pain body coming up right there. Okay. That's what
So I
needs
did
to be
thank
addressed.
her. I did thank her and said, "Oh, thank you for letting me know, and I'll think about having a softer approach, or I don't know, something like that, being
Yeah,
more."
that's sweet.
Huh? Yeah,
I said, that's sweet. That's a
yeah,
sweet communication.
yeah. She's a good friend of mine. I know she loves me, but she gets triggered sometimes by some of the things I say.
Right. Yeah. And the thing is, what makes us want to kind of like, the way Jesus would say it is cast your pearls before swine, right?
Right.
Because remember the second part, they trample you,
Yeah, right.
right? Don't cast your pearls before swine lest they turn around and trample you,
Yeah,
right?
right. Yeah.
So that's the experience right there. That's the experience that's the kind of experience that it's talking about, just like you described. See?
Uh-huh.
So what would tempt you into that kind of energy is a hidden pain, a hidden fear. That's why you just feel the effects of it, and that's how it gets resolved. And it sounds like it's been resolved beautifully for you. I'm sure if it comes up again, the next time it comes up, it's going to be super deep.
Okay, I'll look forward to that.
Yeah, isn't that fun? Aren't you excited about it? Whee! Let's see this ego thing come out again in me. It's always so much fun.
Yeah.
So Lori
Okay.
said, who is the one to feel it? Well, look at it like this. The only one who's getting a sense of anything is you, okay?
Right.
And you decide whether to allow your awareness to go there or to deny it and pursue thoughts instead. It just comes down to that simple choice again. Okay. It's like, will you allow your awareness to go into the feeling, or will you deny the feeling and project thoughts in order to support the feeling more and project it further?
Right.
If there isn't a person, how can there be a director? Well, that's not a person. That's not a person. What makes us so see, the choice for truth is the creative choice. We are always that creative mind that can make that creative choice. That doesn't have anything to do with a person. Okay, it's a creative choice. That's how we create, by making the choice for truth. Okay, by denying truth to illusion. That's another way of saying it. By choosing love. Okay, by allowing ourselves to be uplifted.
So if everything has already occurred and we're just playing it out,
Yes.
then how can we say that we wrote the script and handed it to somebody?
Well, it's like this. It's always being written and rewritten as we go along.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So it's like a program. It's like a program playing out, and because it's based on how you take the perception. What I'm saying is that the whole thing's been played out in every possible way. It's so many ways it's unfathomable for us to conceive of it, because as soon as we thought ourselves into separation, God went through and played out all the scenes in an instant, and they all ended in, we're back in heaven. All of our possible scenarios that would be set up out of the thought of separation It's all played out. It's all done. You win.
Okay,
Every-
so when are we gonna have that, everybody have that experience? What I wanna know then.
Okay, let's put it like this. You are the Christ of your world. So everyone in your perception that's having particular experience that you're perceiving, you taught them how to be like that. Okay. So you, through your forgiveness, through your extension of love, you are going to extend that knowledge everywhere. And then it's going to be revealed to you. You extend it first. See, that's what all these little getting triggered things are all about. You get triggered so that you can have the opportunity to extend what's ours, basically our inheritance that's been denied, in the moments where it seems like it's a fantasy. You know, you bring it into reality, you bring it into life through that creativity, because you just reveal to your own mind that there's only love here, no matter what it is that you perceive. You know, when you have that revelation, you don't have to
That's
you don't
what I
have
hear.
to
When
ask
these were
when.
constantly being triggered, it certainly doesn't feel that way.
What about being triggered?
Well, you know, that's lovely, you know, and sometimes it feels that way, but you have a day where you're, you know, a day where everywhere I'm turning, I get triggered about something that's not going my way usually, right? Trying to get
Yeah.
something done and nothing's working, right? And
Yeah,
so-
you're not triggered because of that, though. You're not
No,
triggered because of that. You're projecting the trigger because you love to get triggered. It's an addictive feeling.
I suppose.
Okay. So if you would be willing to be grateful for the triggers, right? Because that's really, when you're grateful for them, then you can use them as a means for healing. But when you're asking, when is it going to happen? It's actually up to you. No one's coming to save your ass. Or you could say everyone's coming to save your ass, right? That's the other way to look at it. And it's the same. Everyone's saving you. Every time you get triggered for a day, that's saving you. You just been using that as a reason to pretend like it's not saving you.
Okay.
Try it. This is saving me. Thank you.
I know. I listen to you every week. I hear you saying that stuff. I'm wondering when I'm going to believe it.
Well, I guess that'll be when you want to,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. Then I say, okay, now, you know, but apparently I don't really mean it because
Have you-
nothing, you know, doesn't happen or whatever.
Okay. Have you done any of my block stuff yet?
No.
Okay. Well, maybe check that out and you'll see what I mean. It
Okay.
does. It helps people see what I mean.
Yeah.
Right, Ann?
Okay.
Do you feel that, Ann? It's like things that I talk about when you have that kind of experience. You're like, oh, I see what she means.
So I'm
Going into the pain.
the pain.
Yeah, it's like you get some experience going into the pain. You don't have experience going into the pain is the sense I'm getting.
Probably not. Probably have always felt things are too painful, so I try
Okay.
to avoid it.
Okay. Yeah, so that's kind of like a step you take in the mind, and I'll tell you, it seems scary at first, but really it's so relaxing. It is so relaxing. There's certain areas you'll get on and be like, okay, that's too much. Fine, it's okay. Back off, right? Or get off or whatever. Let it be relaxing. This is how it can be for you when you get triggered, and you can laugh when it seems like you're triggered over things not going your way. It's funny. It's just that the feeling is overwhelming you because you've given that feeling power by trying to avoid it. And that's why I say you love to get triggered. You need to get, you need to get triggered, number one, to eventually see through what's triggering you, right? And be released from whatever's triggering you.
Yeah.
And number two, it's kind of like a drug addict getting a hit of something every time you believe in your triggers. That's why it's so tempting, because that feeling is familiar. It gives you identity.
Yeah, as a big trigger bug.
Yep.
I'll get a t-shirt called Triggered.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, you could put your buzzword on the, like, everyone can have a buzzword. When you see me triggered, just say this word to me. It'll bring me back to reality, right?
All right.
Put that on a button, or
Right.
like you're being a bitch in the store or something.
Right.
Someone just says you're,
Or on the phone, like you have said.
oh
It's
yeah,
gonna be a bitch on the phone.
right.
When you're
Right.
demanding something that they haven't done that they were supposed to.
That's right. I can do that. That's right. Still, I don't have any problem telling people, what I want. Like if I'm ordering something, I'll be
Right.
like, hey, can you make sure you make it like this and not like this and put it like this and put it like this? Whatever's,
Right.
it's not like it's not like any of it's important. And we're just playing. There's no way that we're supposed to be. Eat meat, don't eat meat. I don't know. Drink diet soda, drink regular soda, drink no soda. It's all the same.
Right. Okay, so that's a whole nother thing, right? Because I think about all the money I've wasted on nothing.
Well, money isn't anything.
Right.
So why would you waste any time on that thought? There isn't any money.
Wow.
And all the money that seems to be in the world is in your dominion. That's the interesting thing. Like, really, this is interesting thing. And, I haven't seen how, I guess the kind of consciousness, I haven't attained the kind of consciousness that would allow things like instant manifestation. Okay, money, it's in your hand, right? Like that.
Right.
But that is absolutely a possibility for us because we have dominion over everything. See what I mean? It's like as soon as we picture it in our mind, as soon as we picture something, like we can picture a stack of money in our mind, which we can, depending on, how much we have believed in illusions, how open our mind is to the truth, at a point in consciousness, it just can poof kind manifest. And that's actually our power. And we can fly too, right? We have just worked ourselves down into limitation so deeply that it's like we have to only move across the surface of the earth and work to earn our money to buy things. We need this. All this proves is we need a revolution of thought. We have been thinking wrongly because we have the power within us to heal any perceived sickness instantly, to manifest anything instantly. Okay. And to move from, there's no such thing as place. It's all projected. To move from apparent place to apparent place at will. See, the
So
reason
there's
we
nothing
find
really-
ourselves in these limitations is that we've been saying to ourselves, we're limited, we're limited, we're limited over and over again.
So there's nothing in the Bible then that's true. It's all still just made up stories.
Everything that we can perceive in this world is stories. Stories that we projected, stories that we made up. None of it's meaningful. All of it can be used as pointing. Okay. There's all kinds of religious texts in our perception. And there are texts on a certain vein that really, I mean, most of the religious texts are really saying the same thing. They're just telling us the same thing. We also put guideposts in there in the illusion, right? Everything's like symbolic. So we just use it like that.
So I have heard of one person, Saint Germain. I mentioned him once before. Supposedly he was seen in several different lives and as different people. And he was an alchemist and had the ability to do that he never needed money, that he could just always manifest whatever he needed.
Right. And we're the same as that. We're just the same as that. There's no difference. We have all the same power. So it's like our function now, since we perceive limitations, if we're perceiving limitations, like, you can't just fly over to across the USA or whatever in an instant. If you're perceiving a limitation, then the whole purpose of this, everything we're perceiving, is to undo limitations, to make a totally reverse course on everything we've been taught about the world and how things work, because it's wrong. So undoing those things, and that's hurting our heart. And anyone who has the belief, and people are very guarded about this belief, that they have to support themselves, their heart hurts over that. Okay, because that's not our reality. That's not our reality. So it's like that's a major suffering point for people. And I'm just grateful that I can see that, because I can feel it for the world, basically. The whole projection is for that, so we can feel what that feels like to be projecting a thought. Like, we have to support ourselves. What comes after that? What if I can't do it? Right? Well, you can't. Never were capable of that.
Well, most of us are programmed that way.
That's right.
Because it's okay, well, if you can't do that, you're going to die.
Right. You're going to die. And so people have resorted to manipulating each other and swindling, and like, oh, I'll marry myself a rich husband. I mean, like, that has to come into play for everything. Right? So it's like, it's given us to see that and undo it. And stop giving meaning to those kinds of thoughts, because they're not true. One friend told me, and she probably said this to a bunch of people too, but I just didn't believe it. She told me, well, I have to do something to support myself. And I go, no, you don't. She's like, and I'm like, yeah, you know that. Of course you don't have to support yourself. That's not true. It's more like you think you have to support yourself. And so it seems like you have to do XYZ. Right?
Yeah. Did she ask you, well, who is going to support me then?
No, she didn't. She knew. Do you know?
Sometimes I feel like I do.
Okay. So?
Sometimes I feel like, well, the universe will support me, or God will support me. My husband always says, well, the God feeds the birds, so I'm sure he'll feed me too.
Yeah, God feeds the birds, so I'm sure he'll feed me too. Yeah, and since every experience that's arising is for the same thing, then why would you even mind how that looks, really? Just letting it flow freely.
Okay, well, I just needed to see what you had to say about that, because, I keep finding myself getting pulled into into these things that people tell me and stuff. And it's like, it sounds logical, or it's hopeful, or it's whatever, and it's like, yeah, I'm just constantly falling asleep, and falling into
Yeah,
that.
I
It's
know
like,
how it is. Have fun with the falling asleep though, because it always comes with waking back up, right? It's like that. You go in and out. So just have fun with it. You don't have to be so hard on yourself about it.
all right.
You don't have to be hard on yourself at all. You can be like, yay, that seems to have happened. That's how I do it. Yay, that seems to have happened.
I know, you're amazing. You always take everything. Yeah, you're helping to teach me how to laugh at everything.
It's just willingness, which you have. It's just when you're ready. And get on a block or a towel. Watch one of my
Okay,
videos.
I'm going to rehab for my shoulder, so
Okay.
I'll put the block. I'll have to get the block and put it on there.
Okay.
Feel
All
the
right.
pain.
I love you.
Okay, love you too.
Aloha.
Thank you.
Angela, aloha. Thank you for joining. Okay, so let's see. Lori is chatting me up. When you say it's up to you, who is this you? The one who's aware. Who has dominion over everything? The one who's aware. Especially when there is nothing here. The one who's aware. Oh my God, I'm so bewildered tonight. That's the ego. If I'm not this body thoughts, then who am I? Exactly. That's a good one. This is the third time who am I came up to me for me today. It is fucking awesome. The first time it was in meditation. I was doing the Karen Worth meditation, ACIM meditation of the morning. I think it was lesson 58. And she said, who am I in there? And then anytime one of my thoughts popped up, the thought that met it was, who am I? Right. And then I was talking to Linda Hope about her show, which I'm going to be on Linda Hope's show tomorrow. I'll give you guys more information about that in a minute, about her show. And then she said the same words, who am I? And then there's Lori, who am I? That's awesome. There's no answer for that. So let that be the question, just be in the question. Okay, so that could be revealed. How about that? Just stay in that question. Because that'll be like futile to try to answer that one. Oh gosh, that's fun. You're fun, Lori. You're not bewildered. The ego is bewildered. It's okay. The ego does that. It's just really simple. And the ego loves to complicate things. Why does the ego love to complicate things? Because that gives the ego work to do. The ego needs to have some kind of purpose. Otherwise, the ego knows it's not going to be hanging around, right? It fears its own destruction, which there's really nothing to destroy. So there's really nothing to fear, but it's programmed to fear. You don't have to figure it out. There's nothing there to figure it out. It's kind of like when you're doing blocking, and people think in terms of body sculpting, you're using this thing and you're pushing into the body. Well, you're not in charge of that at all. It's just like if you just relax, the body sculpting happens on its own, because what's put your body's blueprint into the field, it's perfect. It's a perfect blueprint for you. So all you have to do is relax. That's all there ever is. It's all just, can you relax a little bit more? People call me about all different problems, and it always comes down to the same thing. they won't relax about it. So what if all this stuff is going on in your dream when it's everything's still the same? It's you playing tricks on yourself. You're just running around in thought. Nothing ever changes. You're running around in thought, playing tricks on yourself. And the trickiness tempts you into believing that that's your reality. And then your reality, your real reality, becomes a fantasy to you. You know, the reality that everything is love and everything is loving and everything is a gift to you, that becomes a fantasy. It's like, oh yeah, right. Hey, you know, you only go to work to pay the bills because you tricked yourself into believing that you need money. Oh, yeah, right. You know, the thing is, that is the fact. Aloha, Kai. That is the fact that you projected as if you need money. Yeah, the fact is that you have no needs at all. So in the midst of a seeming need, what's needed really is willingness to use that as a means to undo that thought, that errant thought. See, people are getting frustrated because they're going, man, I want to believe this. I want to believe this, what you're saying. But then when they get triggered, then it's automatically taking them into disbelief. It's like there's no there's no willingness to stand in the truth in that moment where there's a trigger. That's why I encourage people, start with little tiny things, just like a little thought, a little thought that crosses your mind that says, I need to make more money. You know, you could be on the lookout for stuff like that and notice how it feels. Breathe with it. So quit treating it like it's a real thing and treat it like it's an energetic fluctuation, because that's what it is. It's just the mind fluctuating. And so you're used to going along with the fluctuation and pursuing the thoughts to intensify the fluctuation for you, and usually not even noticing that you're doing that. So it just repeats and builds intensity for you and becomes more and more realistic. And it can go, but you know what? Over time, it can go the opposite direction. That's what I mean about a revolution in thought. Over time, it could just turn around and go the opposite direction and start undoing. You know, when people think of, okay, I know that God's going to supply my needs, they think in terms of, they think they know what they need. Look at, if you knew what was in your best interest, you would manifest it instantly. Okay, if you knew what was in your best interest, listen to that, you would manifest it instantly. The reason why things seem like you have to crawl across and fucking get things, go out and grab it, is because of an errant thought. Okay, that's believing against yourself. That's what we've given ourselves to play with. So the key in this is gratitude for everything that comes up. The gratitude will help you to relax with it. Not this sense like I got to get rid of it and then I can relax. So you relax with it. Relax into it. It's kind of like you open up instead of close up. And you know, that's the body posture too that we're working on when we're playing around with the blocks and we're doing retreats and stuff like that. That body posture is kind of closing in. It's like the ribs are coming around and everything's closing in like this to try to protect something from feeling. Yes, acceptance. That's it. You can't really have acceptance though without forgiveness. See, forgiveness is denying any reality to it. It's saying what I thought happened didn't happen. What I think I see is not there. Okay. That's forgiveness. Okay. So you can't really accept it until you've forgiven it, right? So that's why you get the feeling sensation, so you can observe it as an energetic fluctuation instead of as a reality. Okay. And really, you don't have to try to guide that. You just have to be willing to feel instead of project. That's really the choice for the truth. Because see, when the choice for the truth is more like not choosing the deception as your truth, right? Because naturally your truth is your truth. If you're not choosing the deception, then you're not putting something in its place. So in knowing that all of your needs are provided for by source, God, infinite mind, whatever you want to call it, and in asserting that all of your needs are provided for, know that that's the truth, no matter what you perceive. So you may be perceiving, hey, I have a need here that's not being provided for. That's not the truth. Whatever it seems to be is it, and is always worthy of gratitude, always deserving of your gratitude. And when you give your gratitude, you get it immediately back in return. Hi, Akea. Welcome, my love. My cute daughter, Akea, is on. Oh, Loren, how sweet. Loren's on. She was at a retreat on Saturday. Thank you, Loren. That was so much fun. She was doing cranial sacral. And it looks like we might be doing that women's retreat once a month. Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It was just so wonderful. And, women were coming up to me afterwards and going, hey, can we do this more often? I'm like, I'm down for it. And then we heard from Melekai, the one who put it on, and she said, let's do it monthly. And hey, I'm really interested in doing a men's retreat too, for men. So I've already heard from a couple men that say, yes, I'd like to do that. So that's probably something that I'll either get together with someone else and do it, or just put it on or whatever, and have a men's retreat. That'd be really fun. I don't know why I need to just be men. I don't know. Maybe it's because I just want to hang out with a bunch of dudes at once. That sounds fun. It just seemed like, since there's a women's one, we get a men's one too. Because men, I have a lot of men who I'm friends with men, lots of them, women too, but they're like, what about me? I'm like, I know. There's having a men retreat so all my men friends can come. Yeah, hot tubs, and yeah, just beautiful, lovely conversation. I haven't heard a lot from Melekai yet, but I have a sense that she got into some lovely dialogue with people. I think she was hanging around at the retreat. I didn't see much because I was in there blocking the whole time. I just go, I'll just cruise, and as long as people want to block, I'll block with them. Otherwise, I'll go over to the jacuzzi, whatever. I end up in there blocking the whole time. Just going for it. So yeah, maybe we'll do some more of that. Maybe we'll do some that last longer too, and do some different things. So it's really fun. It's super rewarding for everyone. It seems to well, be full of gifts for everyone. Definitely. Yeah. So hooray. What else is on your guys' mind? I guess I'll know in a second, because it'll probably come out my mouth. Take no thought or worry about the future, what's to come. Okay, because the future comes out of the present moment. It comes right out of the present moment. So look at it this way. When you find yourself in something that's worrisome, that's taking you into a situation that you don't want. That's taking you somewhere that you don't want, right? You don't want to go there. I mean, once you find yourself there, you definitely want it. But in the moment, that's not what you're shooting for, really. You know, your aim is off, let's say. Your aim is off centered, right? When you're worried, because you're aiming for getting what you want, but what your target is actually getting you something completely the opposite of that, because worry is the opposite of what you want. Okay, that doesn't mean you have to be afraid of it, because that's going to have an opposite effect of what you want too. It's only just when worry arises, even if you perceive yourself pursuing the worry, look at it lightly. Just be willing to look at it really lightly. Like it doesn't mean anything, because it doesn't mean anything. When you take away the meaning from it, takes away its effects. It's going to have no effects. It's you making it meaningful that gives it effects. Okay. How do you make worry meaningful? Well, you can tell because you keep on getting more worried, right? Or say it's regret. All right. Sense of loss. Okay. You make it meaningful by pursuing it. Like there's this sad story. Oh my gosh. My only soulmate, the one I love forever, my one and only, they just died. And now I don't have that. That is entirely fabricated by the ego. You never had them. You never had that like that. It's experience. It's just experience. So it's like when when you think of a happy experience that you had with them, can there just be gratitude for having that happy experience? And there would just be gratitude for that. Where does the sense of loss come from but the ego? It can't come from anything but that telling you that you lost something. No, you gained something through the experience. You always gain something through the experience. You know, the ego mind likes to put these things onto experience like it's supposed to go a certain way. But the way that it is going is perfect for you. This thing is written exactly for you. It can't be another way. If you come home and your spouse is screwing someone else, that's a gift. You can, if you're in your right mind, be grateful for that. Some people are really grateful. They just jump in with them. But maybe you're not, maybe you're not the kind to jump in like that. Maybe you're more like they're cheating on me style. Still, through that feeling, that's fine. The feeling's there for a reason. Through that feeling, you come to gratitude, you come to acceptance, but it's through willingness to go through the feeling. There's no willingness to go through the feeling, then what you're doing is resisting the feeling and blaming it and setting yourself up for more of the same. Gratitude is like a solvent. Yes, I see that. I love that. Thank you. Leah, can you please speak about the ego's response to body image? I cut all my hair off and I'm really struggling to feel like me. Oh, you're so adorable. I love your haircut too. It's so sweet. Anne is shaking her head. She loves it too. Yeah. So definitely we tend to get attached to stuff like hair. And that's one of the things, when I was in that cult that I grew up with as I was a kid, one of the things that would be recommended for arrogance would be to cut your hair, like especially if you're a woman, because you get all attached to your hair and it gives you some kind of sense like you need that for something. And Leah, I love this because I'm you know, I was just sharing with you some months ago and recently how greasy my hair kept on being. You know, I had this thing with the sebum just building up so fast. I'm like, what the fuck? Every time I do my hair, it's like wet. It's like wet again. It's like greasy again. It's really the same kind of energy. You know, I'm not liking it. So, you know, how is it for me? I meet those feelings with gratitude. And then, you know, things arise in the field that I try and different stuff. And you know, but the thing is, I'm not attached to how they go. I'm actually not attached to my hair being cut off, right? Because I know it's fucking awesome no matter what. I'm fucking awesome no matter what. If I'm not liking my hair, that's fucking awesome, right? So this idea that you need to have the hair to be liking it, right? That's just propping up the hair as if it's an idol. So it could be your idol that is making you feel like you don't like it. It's always like this. It's always like, I don't like myself. I don't accept myself. There is no hair or anything like that. So you're watching how that feels. And for me, you know, I just watch how it feels. I'll be like, okay, that's how it is. Like for a couple minutes, maybe a couple minutes every day or a couple seconds every day or something when I'm fixing my hair and I'm going, yeah, fuck, it's doing the same thing again. Right. And then noticing how that feels. Just noticing how that feels. All the rest, it takes care of itself. Any kind of solutions, anything like that. I can just be chill with it. And all the rest will take care of itself. So to like yourself again comes through honesty. So it's not that you're not liking your hair. It's like you're using your hair as a distraction so you don't see that you don't like yourself. It actually has nothing to do with your hair. Everyone thinks your hair looks fucking adorable. So you're just projecting onto your hair. In fact, you are, you know, everyone thinks you look totally adorable in all kinds of ways. And you're just constantly projecting this stuff for yourself. I get the same kind of energies passing through. It's just that I don't let them take me. Right? That's the only difference. That's why it's not fun for you, because you're letting them take you. You know, it's meant to be fun for you. It's meant to be playful, right? It's like, but it becomes not playful because you take it as serious. And also it seems like you've got to do something about it. Yeah, you're not seeing yourself clearly at all. Yeah, exactly. You're not, you're making mistakes very real for yourself. Okay. And you're causing suffering for yourself, and you have no basis for doing that. There's no basis for that. We all go through that. And you know, one reason why I bring it up on Wisdom Dialogue, so you could see that those kinds of patterns pop up in my perception too. And they're very tempting for me because they're habitual. This is something, you know, I learned to feel like my value was based on my physicality when I was super young. Right. I learned to start projecting patterns like that when I was super young too. So, you know, I've just been using them to see through. I know that all of the beauty is from within. So whatever I'm projecting outside that seems to not be beautiful, that's my mistake. Okay. I'm making a mistake. It's not my body's fault, right? It's not my body's fault that I am perceiving it that way. There's a problem with my sight. I have a distorted view of myself. And I have a distorted view of the world. And I'm determined to see it differently. That's all. So see, with the determination to see things differently, you're not so caught up on the surface of things and how they look. They can be looking however they're looking. And you can be, you know, going through the sensations of it. Oh, it looks good. Oh, thank goodness. What a relief. Oh no, it looks bad. And man, I've seen my whole life how that changes back and forth so fast. How to reset our sight. You know, it's a revolution in thought. That's all. That's all, Kai. It's just when you get the sense that something's wrong, and that's the same thing, like you see that, oh, my hair is not good enough. You get the sense that something's wrong, to see that as a fluctuating energy and not as a reality. You don't have hair. That's why I keep on talking like that. That's why I keep on saying that, because, you know, I'm tuning you into, this is a fluctuating energy. It's just passing. You don't have to bite onto it. The way you see yourself is fluctuating because you're not seeing it at all. You're not anything that can lack beauty. You know, so it's like letting your expression demonstrate that it's not possible to lack beauty, right? And in that, it's basically like, Leah, your hair looked way better when it was long. Let's say there's the thought, right? Hey, Leah, your hair looks way better than when it was long. And look at your reaction to it. Oh, really? Thanks for letting me know. You know, watching what that's like to react to it, because that's what's projecting that thought that's saying something like that. It's just all the same. It's energy fluctuations on a pattern. Just like I look good, I look bad. You know, 2 days ago, Leah was saying she likes it now. That was 2 days ago. Ann and I were both there. Ann and I both heard it. But now, what happened? The ego got listened to again. That's all. And the hair seems to be the wrong length for beauty to prevail. I remember Leah some years ago, she goes, wow, your hair's getting long. Cause I always like go up and down, you know, wow, your hair is getting long. Are you going to let it grow out? And I'm like, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. You know, it's like, yeah, it could go. I don't have a sense that I look better with long hair. I mean, some people have the sense that I do look better with long hair, and that's fine with me. But I'm not here for giving them the sense that I look better, that I'm looking better that day. You know, one of my friends does not like to see me in a bun. Like, he's just like, I do not like to see you in a bun. And I was like, well, it's a little hot for me today to be pleasing you with my hair. Okay. So, look at someone else. When I get hot, my hair goes in a bun. That's how it is. Not all the time, but now you think you need a haircut? All this talk about hair. And the haircutters, man, they have a challenge. I can see what their challenge is. It has to do with people coming in thinking that they messed up their hair. Same thing with the masseuse, thinking that the masseuse messed up your massage. Right? When we make these things up, first we make up that we don't like our hair, and then we go in and get a haircut, and then they make it look worse. And then we're like projecting onto them like they did a bad job on it. This is how we actually, I mean, this seems like benign stuff that just nothing doesn't matter. It doesn't matter as a thing, but as we make these illusions true, we project more of them. As we think in these ways, we just project more of them. We should project more sorrow. So what I see for you, Leah, is just full release of this whole thing about how you look. So you could just be free and comfortable and play with this form in a happy, joyful, jovial way without any care for how it looks. That's what I see for you. Hooray. And me too. Hooray. Our concept of beauty is only for a separate world. It only has to do with a separate world. Our ideas are totally limiting. So here's some limiting ideas. Here's some limiting ideas. For instance, Leah, you asked me something because I got highlights in my hair. And you asked me, I told you I have permed my hair and stuff like that. And it's not a problem with having any damage or anything like that. And you said, but how old were you? Okay, so let's see how this is a limiting thought pattern that comes up, because it's as if you're older, then your hair wouldn't be as strong as it was when you were younger. That's not a reality, because there's no age on the cells. The cells just reproduce. There's no age on them. There's no aging on them. It's just like they just reproduce and make more. And you know, it's the programming of them that makes them reproduce in a way that looks like aging. We're making it up. So it's the same like with anything. It's not to condemn the aging that you perceive. It's just to notice that you're projecting the aging that you perceive and projecting it over and over again, because making illusions true. And I know how it is, because it's so ingrained. It's like, oh, well, when you're older, it's going to be like this. Well, what goes on is, as we go through time and apparently accumulate aging as we go through time like that, all we're doing is accumulating thought patterns, as in that one that says you're gonna have this as you get older, you know. And when I perceive things on my form that seems to be something that's a sign of aging, I just deny any kind of meaning to that aging concept. No, I'm projecting a sign of aging because I believe in it secretly. Okay, that way I give all the power back to my mind, you know, because it's my goal and function in this lifetime, in any lifetime, and in this lifetime in particular right now, to reveal that none of this was ever true. Okay, these limitations that we perceive, this sense of a physical body that is on a trajectory toward death, none of that stuff is really meaningful. And you know, it has to be demonstrated, though. You know, to see it, it has to be demonstrated. Now, how does it get demonstrated? It's just like I'm talking about. When the thought occurs to me that certain things happen as a result of aging, I don't believe it. It's a result of projection. Only the mind can be responsible for anything that's being perceived. So it's a result of projection. It's not a result of aging. So if we want to see through this illusion, it takes commitment to stop projecting the same thing everywhere. Just because we perceive it doesn't make it a reality, right? Just because we get a perception of it, that's not making it real. So you see what I'm saying, Leah, about that one? It keeps on cycling back around, thinking that going up in age equals certain limitations, right? It's said to equal certain limitations. It doesn't. It doesn't. And it's your comfort and appreciation for whatever it is that you do perceive that helps you see through those limitations that are projecting that. Okay, so it's like, would I keep that? Would I keep that illusion of hair not working out or aging? No, I wouldn't keep that illusion. So I'm not going to keep the thought that's projecting it. I don't want that for anyone. I don't want anyone's hair to get shitty when they turn 50, right? It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense. This is a regenerative body that's being projected. And as a projection, it doesn't age. It doesn't even get sick. See? Some of my friends, when they get I heard the other day too, the coronavirus. Oh, shit. Oh, I'm not going on YouTube anymore. I'm on Rumble now, so I can say coronavirus all I want. People told me they had that thing and told me they're sure it's a bioweapon. It's so intense. They're sure it's a bioweapon. And you know what? My answer to that is that's why it's intense, because you're giving bioweapon power over you. Okay. It's not, there's no such thing. Even if someone is going, I'm making a bioweapon right now. Here's my bioweapon. It's this thing, and I'm going to sprinkle it all around. And when people get it, it's going to be the most fucked up sickness they ever got. They're going to be calling it a bioweapon, right? It still has no power over you. So you just, in the moment, don't give these concepts any power. They have no power. I hear so many scary stories. It's so funny. Aloha, Amanda. I love you. It's so funny because I hear these scary stories about these different bioweapons. The last one I heard about is a bee that they're releasing in Hawaii. A bioweapon. They're releasing a bioweapon bee, I heard. And I was just like, well, I'm not going to worry about that. That's for sure. That's, nothing is cause for worry. I don't care. When they were saying a missile is coming to Hawaii, that wasn't even a cause for worry, right? So none of these things that are being projected onto us have any meaning at all. They have no power but the power we give it. Yeah, Niall. And if we take things that seem stupid, right? Like, they seem like they're just benign. Like you don't need to give them any kind of play or anything. And you just pursue them. Like the idea, like, that's just how it is. We're just going to get wrinkly and old, and it's only going downhill from here. And then we're going to die. These kinds of that's the basically the summary of what a lot of these thoughts are pushing the perception toward. So it's the thoughts that are pushing the perception toward that, not anything else. It's not fate, it's not destiny. This is just thoughts playing out. With that in mind, it's like, yeah, give me all the sensation. I get excited about that, like I get the perception of aging of myself. Like for one thing, more recently, I was having this flabbiness on my belly, it was like hanging over and being flabby and stuff like that. Anne's laughing at me. I love it. And I just go, okay, so say that flabbiness never goes away, say that flabbiness never goes away. Is that okay? Yes, that's okay. But and basically you just ask yourself, is that okay? And then you're making a choice there. Is it okay if this just remains like this forever? It's just a feeling you're projecting. And you get the sense, yes, it's okay. And then it's okay. And then it was so funny because then there was a shift and I was like, holy shit, where did all that shit go? And it could come back again too. I don't know. What is aging? Nothing. It's just a projection of it. It's a projection of deformity. Okay. One of them's deformity. And the body's a great symbol because the body blueprint is basically held together by fascia, right? That's the body blueprint. The fascia is an expression of the mental patterns that form the physical thing. It's a perfect reflection of that. The mental patterns that form the physical self and the mental self and physical self are like folding in on each other, twisting around. That's how it is when you perceive in limitation, which we're doing because we can't fly in the air at will. Because we can't be at the grocery store and they go, okay, 94, 97. And you just look in your wallet and bing, it's there. Here you go, right? We are perceiving in limitation. And because of that, this whole fascia thing is twisting around. And as we go through time, turning it and choking it out and cutting off the life force, you could say, in the physical sense, it's blood and oxygen flow. You could say it's light to the projection. You know, it's cutting off light to it. So the body is defiled. The body that's aging is a body that's defiled by thought. That's all. So it's a matter of willingness to see it like that, because there's no possibility of that. We're seeing an impossibility. Just like lack of love is an impossibility, so is aging. So your question, what is aging? It's that deformity thing that we perceive where things start twisting, wrinkling, loss of muscle tone. Let's say, what else? I already said deformity. Oh yeah, the mental one too, huh? There's that one too. So these are signs of something that's unreal. These are really signs of fear-based thinking. They're not actual reality. So when we cut through and access the pain that we're projecting into our bodies, and there's, you know, a couple ways to do it that I see now. Number one, when you're triggered. That's easy. You go around and get triggered all the time. Number one, when you're triggered, use it as an access point. Okay, how can I use this? You just, you know, just ask. Your function is in using that for forgiveness, using that trigger. Okay, that's what it's for, right? So it's both. It's okay. Your perception of aging, it's okay. And it's also meaningless. Because it's an impossibility. So it's okay and it's meaningless. Right? And in that balance, you're not resisting it, but you're also not making it real and pushing it forward and making yourself suffer over it. Because the more you think that certain things are inevitable, they're a given with aging, they're just inevitable, the more you're going to have agony over how you think this is playing out for you. The fact that they're not inevitable is meant to give you hope, right? The fact that they're not inevitable, that you can actually see through this. You just use it for seeing through it, no matter how it goes in this particular lifetime. No matter how it goes. That kind of patience is actually going to make things go faster for you. See, this trying to get to it, trying to get to the end really fast. Is body death natural? Well, it depends on what the definition of natural is, right? Because, you know, you could say that nature is the most killing thing you've ever fucking seen. Like, you know, as a perception, you know, in the perceptual world, even the plants are carnivorous. They're down there underneath the ground eating bugs. Those little roots, even as slow as they move, they catch up with bugs and eat them. Little tiny things. Everything's killing everything. So in that sense, yeah. But it's not a possibility in reality. It's not even a possibility. Nothing dies. There's no death for anything. You know, just make them all the same thing. The idea that your hair looks bad and the idea that your spouse is leaving you and you think you want them. They're the same. The idea that there's not enough money, the idea that you have a desire for another body, those are all the same. They're all just thoughts of the ego. Bodies don't last forever, right? Because they're illusions. They also don't have to die at the same time. You know, an illusion can just disappear. It doesn't have to go through death, really. We just made that up. It's like as if death is the only way to not have a body here. It's the only way out. It's actually the opposite of that. It's more like perfecting a body, which is really all it is a purified mind. A purified mind will be extending a perfected body. A perfected body isn't bound by time or space or any of the limitations that we perceive. Okay? That body, the perfected body, that body, once it's all the way, and there's stages of this perfection too. Once it's all the way perfected, I think you can call it the celestial phase. It is an eternal body. It just doesn't go anywhere. Okay. You can say the one that you get a perception of in has the seed of the eternal body in it. It has that blueprint. It has that blueprint within it, which is really coming from your mind. It's within your mind, because the body is a projection. So let's say the body is in your mind, and the seed for the perfect, which means completely perfected, devoid of all limitations, body is in your mind. And at this stage of the game, the fascia is representing the blueprint. And right now the blueprint is fucked up. It's causing all kinds of pain for people. Okay, it's not so much that the blueprint is a mess, but it's that it hasn't been followed. If the blueprint for the body, that's the created body, were followed, it would have no limitations. But the blueprint for the body hasn't been followed in the mind. The mind is taking a different turn in thinking that it's separate from God and winding its thoughts all around this false self-image. And in the expression, it's like this thing's being strangled out by its own fascia and scrunched back into the ground. It's hilarious. Okay, my God. Okay. I'm going down, or my eyes are. I will have to watch tomorrow on FB. Good night, everyone. Okay, thank you. Thanks for joining. Could we be denying death as what? Where are we going with that, Kai? I'm not even sure what you mean like that. What do you mean by that one? Could we be denying death as natural? Sure. It's like you can keep it. It's like you can have it however you want. Like you could have death as the reality, and then that's true. Like no one can really argue with you about that. I mean, that's true for you. You made it true for you. Great. It's not a problem. And then if you want to change your mind, you can. Isn't that fun? Since it's completely based on belief. Whenever you're ready to change your mind about it, you can. It's like, okay, have it however way you like it. Some people like to think of the life as a battle. It's like, okay. So you want to have a battle about that? No, I don't. It's okay with me. See, I was trying to flip my screen here. Oh, that didn't work. Okay. Could we not be denying death as natural? Yeah, we just think we see death. We programmed it to think we see death and to be afraid of it while simultaneously being attracted to it. There's an attraction in our mind to it. That's what's going to make us utter something about something being an effect of aging. That's the attraction. Because if we don't keep it up, if we don't keep that up, then the aging illusion is going to pass. It's just going to fall away. What if it's just how it works? That death is natural? Well, it is how it works when you are projecting a world of limitation. Would that blow our mind? If death was natural, what are you saying? Yes. If death was natural, would that blow our mind? I don't think so. It seems like it's more like the commonplace belief that death is natural. Right? That seems to be the commonplace belief. It's just natural. It's okay. It's natural. You live for a little while and then you pretend to die. Could you accept that death is natural? Yes. I mean, all of nature is killing. That's what's going on. I agree with you. It's natural. It's also projected. Everything natural is projected. There's no death. I don't have to accept that death is a reality, because it's not. I wouldn't accept that it's a reality, because I know that it's not. Why no death? Because it's not possible. There's nothing to kill. What would die? Right? What can die? There's nothing real to kill. Something that could die isn't real. The body's not real. So if the body apparently dies, is that death? No. What would it be killing? That really death? It's death in a movie. Yes, I accept that there's death in the movie that I made about being separate. It's a given. That's how it's going to be. But I don't have to accept death as a reality, simply because it's not even reasonable to think that way, because it's a projected body. A projection can't die. It was never alive. My body might not. Your body might not what? I get it. Life force continues. My body might not. Oh, yeah, of course. It might not. And it might. It might, if it's perfected. You see what I mean? Each lifetime. So it's like, you get the death experience, and then you go, oh shit, I was using it for something else. I wasn't using that body for perfection. Okay, let's try again. I thought I wanted to get laid by whatever. I thought I wanted to go to Burning Man and run around in my whatever outfit, getting all dusty and rolling around. I thought that's what this thing was for. Oh, it's for seeing through illusions. And then you're trying again. That at one of these points you will perfect a body. Isn't that interesting? Because it's like the body illusion. The body illusion is an illusion painted over the body extension, which is your reality, which is like your real body. So the body illusion is just being painted over it. You could turn perfection into an ego trip. Isn't that fun? You can turn anything into an ego trip. Or you could just focus on forgiveness and watch what happens. Just focus on forgiveness. Not fun. Ego trips are not fun. That's right. Because then it becomes about what I perceive on the surface. It becomes all about what I perceive. Now I'm looking at myself and I'm going, am I perceiving the right thing? No, you don't even need to concern yourself with that. It's just focus on forgiveness, right? Focus on relaxing more. That's really the same thing as forgiveness. Really the same thing as a spiritual practice. Focus on relaxing more. How can I get some relaxation here? The perfected body is only an effect of a purified mind. So we're not looking to the body to prove to us that we're purifying our mind. We know that by our sense of calm and peace, not by perceptions. Perceptions are going to come for a while to prove to you that you're separate and that you're guilty, just for fun, just for play. From your perspective, once you're willing to see that's all it is, then it's just one of those perception comes up and it's like, perfect. This is perfect for me. That's how I handle all of the little things that seem to come up for me. Like I'll get some like greasy hair, for instance, like perfect. This is perfect for me. And then I'll notice that there's a sense of insecurity coming up. And for that, I have compassion, right? And in allowing that, it's not like it's wrong. It's not like it's bad. It's not like it's unspiritual. It's being shown to me for healing. It's coming for an extension of love, which I could always supply. And you could always supply. At a point, and it may be a point soon, who knows? Maybe at a point soon. Because it does seem like Babylon is like teetering like this right now, right? It's like at one point, we're all going to see that we made this up, and it may actually be soon. Okay. It's like the vice grip is coming down. It's like it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter, and people are going, oh my God. And then people start to see. And what I see is this receptiveness right now. Because it's like there's got to be, it gets to the point where people are asking. Once people start asking and going, there's got to be a better way, then it's going to be revealed. There's got to be another way of looking at this. Whenever it's upsetting to you, there's got to be another way of looking at this. There's got to be another way of looking at my hair, for instance. There's got to be another way of looking at my ass, right? And not to mind the physical fluctuations. Those are just fluctuations. It's not showing you anything that's true. Even if you get the sense that like, oh my gosh, this body is about ready to freaking die, right? That's another fluctuation. The death experience is like, I hear it's fucking amazing. I can imagine it's freaking amazing, the death experience. I'm sure it's really awesome. Like really incredible, incredibly blissful. Okay. I've also heard of people having a hard time with it. That's just fear. The starting right now in the life, look at whenever you're afraid of death, when you feel afraid of death, notice that. And let that sense, look, underneath that sense of fear of death is complete joy. It's orgasmic. It's really beautiful. Underneath that fear of death, it's almost like you get underneath those things. One way I look at it, when there seems to be a big mind storm, right? Like all these thoughts just spinning around. It's sort of like I'm laying on my back and all these thoughts are like right here, like in front of me. And here they are swirling. They're just swirling around. And I'm watching my reaction to those thoughts. And that's it. See how easy that is? Most people are morphined out during death. I have no idea. I don't have a lot of experience with that. But I think even if you're morphined out, when that moment comes and there's that willingness, it doesn't really matter what kind of things people are on. I mean, gosh, when I gave birth with Demerol, I'll tell you what, it didn't make any difference when I didn't want it to make a difference. It made no difference. And the same thing with anything. Someone can be drunk on alcohol or something. And as soon as they don't want that alcohol to make a difference, it doesn't make a difference anymore. Person can sober up really fast. All that stuff is projected. When we take supplements, it's another thing. Vitamins, supplements, drugs, hormonal pills. When we take all those kinds of things, we are making a magic trick. So it's not like don't take those things. It's not like that. Just acknowledge you're working magic tricks. There's no power in those things. So you're attacking your mind if every time you take that pill or supplement or whatever it is, could be a packet, whatever. Um, you're attacking your mind every time you put faith in something like that, like it's going to give you the result that you want. It's not that thing that's going to do it. It's your mind using that thing sort of like as a permission slip. You don't need that to get the effect that you're getting, but you tricked yourself into thinking that you need that to get the effect that you're getting. All the doctors that you talk to, they're agents of your mind. You told them to say what they're saying to you. I remember when I went to the doctor and the doctor told me, what are you even doing sitting here? I can't believe that you have any energy to drive yourself here and then sit here based on the numbers that I'm looking at here. I mean, your adrenals are all the way down to number 4, and minimum healthy range starts at 1,000. Right? That's what I did. I just laughed when she said that stuff to me. I just laughed, right? You need to be in complete hammock time. I'm like, oh, thank goodness, right? It gave her this script to read because, it's like there's this sense like, I don't want to work, right? So I'm like, great. And then she gave me some hormone medication too, to start taking some hormone medication. So your hormones are bad and you're going to get this and this if you don't take this medication. So I'm like, wow, I'm watching myself and I'm like, take it. I see myself going and taking the medication. I'm like, okay, well, this is fucking awesome. Whatever it is, I'm just going to use it. I'm going to use it for healing. I'm not going to put any faith into these little pills. That's for sure. But I'm just going to use it for healing the mind. And it wasn't long for me at all before I was like, thank you. No, thank you. I'm off of this thing. It was not long. It was like maybe 1 to 3 months. I don't know. It was sometime in 2016, maybe just like 1 to 3 months. And it was amazing because when I let them know that I was off of it and I wasn't going to do it anymore. Wow. It was amazing how I projected these people with these really firm beliefs that I was going to be so fucked up if I got off of their things. I was going to be like I think the words used, an old rag. I was going to be like an old rag if I got off of the program. And when I hear stuff like that, I get excited. I get excited. I'm kind of like, well, I guess we'll see. I don't know. When's that going to happen? What age do I need to be for that to occur? Why do we attack the mind? Is that just a habit, a learned precondition? Well, the thought of separation demands punishment, okay? That demands punishment. So the attacking is reasonable based on that, right? You can see how it's reasonable based on that. But see, the thought of separation isn't true in the first place. The thought that we separated ourselves demands punishment. We think we did separate ourselves. So the secret thought that we separated ourselves, we attack ourselves for having done that. Perpetual punishment for having done something we didn't do. Okay. So it becomes like an addictive habit to get an upset feeling and project that upset feeling with more thoughts that attack the mind. It's habitual because we think we deserve punishment. That is the punishment. It's like, thank goodness I can keep, if you can keep a world where you're being punished, then you can avoid your total annihilation that you think you would get if you were not in a separate world. Thinking that you're in a separate world, avoiding punishment from God still has you punishing yourself. You'll get over it. We'll all get over it. Yeah. We'll all let ourselves be released from the limitations we laid on ourselves. and we'll see each other and ourselves truly. It's only a matter of time. And you know what? Don't take any of this like, oh, I got to get better at this. I got to do something. I got to get better. It's not like that. You don't have to get better at anything. You know what? The story is already written. It really just takes you know, a willingness to relax. That's how simple it is. It's a willingness to relax in the moment. You're making things hard for you. That's the habit, to make things hard for you. You make your relationships difficult for you by just following thoughts about them. Now, you know what? I'll have periods of time where I'll find myself maybe for hours even wrapped up in a thought, and I'll be like, okay, I see this thought, but I'm not willing to let it go. So I'll just let it play out in my awareness. I might journal. That's something that I find helpful in a situation like that. I might journal. It's almost like I'm writing down everything that I would say to the person or about the thing or whatever, if I were believing the ego. And when I write that down and take a look at it, it's apparent to me, you know, it gets me to the point where I'm laughing and jovial again. You know, this morning I found myself in a situation like that. It was early in the morning and I went for meditation. And during the meditation, my mind was active. Wow. It was just chewing on a subject, right? So I'm noticing that's what is going on. So I'm just watching the mind chewing on a subject, right? And I'm watching it like, and trying to make these thoughts meaningful, like I've been somehow wronged, right? And I just kept on applying the thoughts of the truth. I'm like, or bringing the thoughts of the truth. The thoughts, I'm writing them down too. And I'm going, okay. And the next thing you know, for me, I just delete them. I write them, I delete them. I write them, I delete them. I don't even save them. There's no need to save it because it's not relevant. But in a situation like that, I might find myself in, you know, in journaling. Not that you have a choice in it. You know, I'm just sharing one possibility. And according to consciousness, according to what appeals for you, who knows, that might pop up for you too, where you just write it down, delete it. I've heard of people speaking it into their microphone, playing it back for themselves, whatever delusion they got in their mind, right? On the opposite side of that, you can also ask the higher guide within you. You know, you can just ask. So tomorrow I'm on a show. You guys join my show tomorrow. Let me see. I'm going to put did I have that link? Oh yeah, there's the link. That's tomorrow, 2 p.m. Hawaii time. I'll put that over on Facebook too. 2 p.m. Hawaii time. I will be having an interview there with Linda Hope. And I guess we're going to be talking for like an hour. We're going to be talking about a lot of different things. I might even demonstrate some blocking on the show. We'll be talking about all kinds of good, juicy topics. And I posted on Facebook, feel free to send me any questions that you would like me to answer on that. You know, I love it. You know, I love you. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. And, oh, you're going to be watching Nael. Yay. Well, you can join too. So if you go on that StreamYard thing, you could actually join. You could actually talk to me on there and everything. Isn't that cool? It's like a live radio show thing. I was typing up I have this contact form. I wonder if I could share it with you guys. I have this contact form, or it's like a PDF of Hope's offerings. Man, I'm like, man, it looks like I'm up to a bunch of stuff. It's kind of interesting because it seems like I block a lot. I love you, Amanda. It seems like I do a lot of blocking. I don't know how I get all that stuff going, but there's a whole list of all these different places where you can get to my stuff and the things that I'm offering. Let me see if I can share it with you guys. Hope's offering. There it is right there. Let's see if I can put it in here. I guess this thing doesn't let me share a PDF. I think I tried that before. It's so weird. I wonder if I can put it over on Facebook. Let's see. And grab it like this. There we go. Boom. Did it do it? No, it doesn't do it anywhere. Okay. The technology thing, I don't know, you guys. It's pretty funny. I love that because I'll be working with technology and then it'll dawn on me like, oh my goodness, the dominion over the world even extends to technology. Like when we get the perception that technology isn't working correctly, that's also coming from us. And our dominion over the world actually gives us the power to have anything working properly. So it's so fun because you know how we get frustrated about things not working properly? That's exactly what's making the illusion of things not working properly over and over and over again. Is we believe in the frustration. We believe in the thing. I saw this within myself this week. We believe in the thing being the problem. Look at how we set up technology. It practically never works correctly. It's always like tech support and all this other stuff, right? And that's because we've relied on ourselves to make this technology. We forgot where our power really comes from. That's the thing. We could have anything working. We don't have to have so many devices. Things can just be useful, just as they are, with no technical difficulties. So even the technical difficulties, those are within our domain. We made it up and we're getting a sense like it's frustrating. It is not frustrating. We're projecting our frustration onto technology. This is a man-made thing. That means it's made to fail. Okay? And it's made under the illusion that the mind of man, woman, whatever you want to say it, has power to create. It's not like that. Yeah, you're not creating anything here that's going to you're not able to create anything here that can heal that sense of separation for you. That's why it's still operating. The mind's still operating from the sense of separation. So it's got to be projecting frustrating things because it's frustrated. So all those things are the means, and that just turns everything on its head when I'm having an illusion that one of those apps on Shopify, like they didn't do a good enough job designing it, and that's why it doesn't work, and it's a ripoff, and whatever the perception I'm getting, that just turns it all on its head when I realize, wait a minute, this is what I have dominion over. If I was seeing clearly, I would not be perceiving a technical difficulty right now. It's my site that needs purification. It's not that company that needs to learn how to do their app better, because they can't, because they're coming from my mind that's thinking in separation. So hooray. Yay. Even that is perfect. That there seems to be a mind thinking in separation. Because without that, we would be stuck with the guilty sense that we separated from reality for eternity. So that's why this is deserving of nothing short of gratitude. So I mean, for an eternity. Like, yeah, it seems like forever going through all these bodies and doing all this stuff, but that's nothing compared to eternity. You still want to see it playing out. I know. I get the same impression about myself. It's the devotion will arise, and then it'll be like, yeah, I just like kind of like feel like seeing this play out again. I just watch that. It's okay. It's playing out. It's burning out. It's coming to the end. So, hooray, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I love you. And I will be back next week for Wisdom Dialogues. But tomorrow, join me on that one because it'll be fun. There's going to be some different questions coming out, I'm sure. And loving you up always. Reminding you who we are. Not just you. You're not going to go alone. You're not going to wake up all alone. You're going to wake up with everyone. Okay. You're going to see everyone who comes into your perception as your savior. So that's how it is for me. It's like, thank you. Whatever it is, it seems like someone's giving me. It's like, oh, thank you. Because it's always love underneath it. I may be making a different interpretation, but I'm wrong. And I'm going to be blessed for being willing to accept that I am wrong. Whenever I get an upset feeling, just in accepting that I am wrong, I can see this differently. I can have peace instead of this. Right? A Course of Miracles quotes just come flooding into me. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. That's one of my favorite ones. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. That's all that's going on here. I love you. Thank you so much, Nael. Okay, everyone. Until next time, mahalo, aloha, and a hui ho. I love you, Asana, and Kai, yay, and everyone.